Hey guys,
Guys.
welcome back to the According to Woods podcast. I didn't
Hi,
do the
guys. Hey, I'm
hi.
here. Hi, can you see me okay? God, I'm like an old lady in technology. So crazy.
So crazy, but we got Alyssa Garcia, Tiny Tim, as she's known in certain circles, bigger circles than she. But you, so it's funny because you said that you ended up at CSW, and for those that don't know, that's Combat Submission Wrestling in Fullerton, California, and it's crazy because you were saying like, oh, you were training with girls that you were like Marina Shafir and Jessamine Duke and the
Shayna
Queen of
Baszler.
Spades, Shayna Baszler, who right
Right.
now is literally half WWE Tag Team Champion, which is
She's killing it.
fun.
She is killing it. It's so cool to
Literally,
see her doing her thing. Yeah.
literally killing it. Like
Yeah.
anybody that stands in her path, she does it.
Done. Done.
Mhm.
Yeah. No, I was super fortunate to work with those girls, and they had so much experience, and they came from women's MMA where a lot of them were the trailblazers. A lot of them didn't get the big camera lights and actions that you see the girls getting now, which is, that's with anything, right? Being a trailblazer, you don't really like Megumi Fuji, right? I mean, Megumi Fuji's a freaking legend, dude. And a lot of people, who are all into MMA, say Megumi Fuji, they're like, huh? Who's that? And I was just super fortunate to work with those girls and get their experience, they try to give me that experience, and it was really, really good opportunity. And it happened to be, I live in Whittier, which is only about 10 minutes from Fullerton, 15 minutes from Fullerton. So, pretty fortunate for sure.
That's not a bad deal when one of the most elite training centers are literally in your backyard. That's not
Right.
bad.
No, not at all. It worked out really, really good.
So, in terms of those formative years, right? You were when you were at CSW, none of your amateur fights were under that banner, were they?
No, no. And actually, right before we had left CSW was going to be my first, right when we left CSW was in the transition, was right in the middle of my training camp for my first fight with Josh, which was going to be in Japan in Ryzen against their one of their stars. So it was a lot going on for sure. For my first fight with Josh, and Josh is he's like, none of this other shit has to do with your fight, so don't worry about it. That's not an excuse, which is, that's why Josh is where he's at, because yeah, he don't let anything around him make it an excuse. He's definitely anti-excuse. So he's very, if all this transition has nothing to do with why you shouldn't perform right. It has nothing to do with it. So, keep your head on your shoulders, and that's why Josh is where he's at, because his fight IQ is very high, and his IQ is high too, I guess. But he's very keep your eyes on the prize. We're here to fight and to train. Nothing else matters. So it was a good first fight experience, because anything else was pretty smooth sailing.
Well, shout out to the War Master, and it's just weird to say like friends, but I mean, literally, we just got out of like Josh Barnett's Bloodsport 5 this
Mm-hmm.
past weekend and 4 the previous weekend, and I
Right.
was like literally when I knew that he was attached to it when Matt Riddle went to the WWE,
Oh, okay, okay.
right? Because that the first Bloodsport was Matt Riddle's, and then he went to the WWE, and then he was attached, and then Josh was tasked with basically
Doing the
putting on the
whole,
show.
yeah.
Yeah, I was just like every show. Like I think it might have been a Lights Out. I think it might have been one of AJ's fights,
Oh,
AJ
okay,
Bryant's
yeah. Lights
fights.
out. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
and I was just like, tell me everything about Bloodsport, and I was like, whatever, and
Oh, that's sick.
yeah,
He's probably
because
all about it too, man. I mean, I can I would love to do pro wrestling once I retire. I mean, that shit is, people say wrestling's fake. It's like, this shit's rough. It's pretty rough. I mean, it's no joke. It really is no joke. And I never got it. I was never into pro wrestling. Like, all these people grow up with it and stuff. Like my Victor Henry and Angel Verduzco, who we trained with and lived together, and they were all about it. I mean, like some like WWE event would come up and they'd be like, "Oh, it's this." I'm like, "What?" Like I didn't grow up with it, so it's cool. I happen to have a coach who's all about it, and that's where I get. I mean, it's like everything. I mean, all the pro wrestling info you need is right there.
Oh
You
yeah.
know.
Oh, like literally, like he was on this podcast. We went an hour. Almost none of it was about his career, and people were
Oh,
asking.
that's cool. Yeah.
We were talking all pro wrestling and
Oh,
how
that's cool. That's
that's
cool.
that's it. Oh, do you know? Because again, for those who don't know, I directly attribute Alyssa Garcia for me being friends with Josh Barnett, and
I'm just a
it's
little
weird to say.
Cupid. I'm just a little Cupid. That's
No,
me.
yes, I'm just Mario Yamasaki. But here's the thing. So it was at Alyssa Garcia's, or the weigh-ins for Alyssa Garcia's fight at Combate. I can't even remember what Combate it was, but it was at Burbank Marriott. And I see this gentleman with Chucks, Dickies, and a T-shirt, and it was a Harajuku Iron Maiden T-shirt. And I mean, those of you that went to high school with me, my gimmick was T-shirt, Dickies, and Chucks. Like that's it. And I still kind of do that to this day, right? So it's like, oh, I want to see like where that guy got the t-shirt, and he was sitting down with his back towards me. He gets up. It's Josh Barnett. I'm like, oh shit. And literally, the first question that I asked him, I was like, hey, can we get a photo? Like, big fan, da da da. And right before, like, so I handed my phone to somebody, I kind of went to him and I was like, hey, so how was it to train under Antonio Inoki and Billy Robinson? And
He's like,
he stands there and he kind of looks off to the heavens and then to me, and I thought, oh shit, I just pissed off the War Master. I'm going to die. That's what's going to happen. And it
oh, he
was
was
cool.
probably so happy.
Yes, and he goes, nobody's ever asked me that. Now, the from the time that he's looking around and then looks back at me, I'm all like, again, I'm going to die. And it might have been like 7.5 seconds, right?
Mm-hmm.
It felt like forever. And I
Oh,
was just like, whatever. And then he kind of grabs me. I have the picture, and he kind of grabs me. He's like, yeah, whatever. And I was like, no, I'm really about this shit. And I think it was like, he was getting ice. That's what happened.
okay, okay.
Right before your fight, right? He was getting ice for you to put in the bucket and whatever. And I just happened to be like in the corner where the ice machine was. And I'm all like, look at my phone. And I had like, I think it was Billy Robinson's the physical chess book. And then I want to say like the something by Gotch, like something by
Oh,
Gotch.
sick. Okay, okay.
But here's where my fucking Kindle fucks up and just like whatever. Like I want to show him
Like,
those two titles, and the Rosie Perez biography comes up. So and he's like, I have that one too, and I was
he's
like,
like, yeah.
oh shit, well, that's not. Yeah,
That's hilarious. That's me. That is me right now, dude. I'm just like, oh yeah, hey, and then all black.
yeah, yeah. See
That's so
that?
cool. That
Yeah,
is so cool. Yeah, Josh. I mean, and Josh is pretty. It's really cool. I mean, he's very proud of like our lineage and where we come, like where catch wrestling comes from and what we've learned, and he's very proud in that, and it makes us proud in it. It makes us happy. It's not catch wrestling isn't as mainstream as jujitsu, and we kind of indulge that. Like we kind of like that. We don't have these 10th planet names and all these cool little outfits and stuff, but we definitely keep it old school. We like it. We like Josh definitely likes to know that we're not so mainstream, and catch wrestling is still very very grounded, and that's what he teaches a lot too, when he talks about Carl Gotch and just all the times that he's gone to Japan and traveled and trained with, and he puts that, when I went to train in Thailand at Santanoi's gym. I mean, it is not glamorous as far as like training. No one babies you there. It's very real and very fight life. Like that's the best way I could describe it. And that's what Josh, I think that's what's made us so tough and kept us ahead of the game. You know, a lot of the, which is cool. I mean, part of becoming a big name person is I mean, you could tell Josh I don't like wearing makeup when I do anything. So Josh's like, yeah, you should put some makeup on when you do an interview. Yeah, you should probably do your hair. Like, okay, you tell me to brush my teeth and wipe my ass next too. Like, God. So, but you know, he's very like, yeah, that is part of it too. I mean, doing interviews for me was so hard. Like pre-fight interviews were tough. Post-fight, not real, because you're still so after the fight, you're still so raw. Like, you know what went on. But like pre-fight interviews and like talking about myself was so awkward. Like if you look at other interviews, I was like so uncomfortable. But and you know he likes that too. He likes that it's we're not so like, oh, post my I'm gonna post my butt on Instagram. But he would tell me you need to post more selfies on your Instagram. Unfortunately, that is the girl game. You know, it is that is the girl game. But going back to our roots and stuff, Josh very likes to talk about where we come from and our lineage and he's introduced me to Sakuraba and that's insane in its own for those who know who Sakuraba is. And I mean, yeah, he's a little bit bigger in person, but yeah, that's
Okay.
the idea.
Yeah. I hope so. I
Yeah, he's a
hope
little bit
so.
bigger in person, but yeah, and I got the opportunity to go on Quintet. Unfortunately, it didn't work out because I ended up getting pregnant and stuff. Just kidding. But yeah, so that was another thing. I mean, Josh is very he's very helpful, and I mean he takes care of us. Like I don't, you definitely hear about coaches or people who fight having fighters under their belt and training them, but it goes nowhere. I mean the length and the time and effort that Josh puts into us while not asking for money, which is not important, but it says something about him, is very it grounds us too, because it we do other things in our lives that are based around what we learn, and Josh does things because he loves to do it, because
Yeah.
he believes in us. And Josh all the time too tells us, life isn't fighting isn't your life. You're gonna get old and you're gonna grow old, so a lot of things he teaches us is just for our lives in general. When he sent me to Thailand, that shiznit was not easy, and it was a life lesson too. That's why he sends us and does things like that for us. And Josh Josh is probably one of the best, if not the best, MMA legends who is also a coach. It the amount of things he does, I can't even explain. He's gonna see this and he's gonna be like, "Oh my god, you love me." I'm like, "Ugh."
Which, here's the wildest thing. Like, beauty tips by the War Master.
Right?
Like social media etiquette from Barnett, the babyface assassin.
I know.
Like,
I'm
that's
embarrassed. I'm
that's
embarrassed.
fun. That's so fun.
It's
That needs to
crazy.
be an Instagram. Well, you know what? I'm gonna create that fucking Instagram. Good lord. You might cease and desist me,
Beauty
but
tips
that's fine.
by the War Master.
That's so great.
DIY
Oh,
projects
I'm
by Josh
just.
Burnett.
I mean, fuck. I mean.
Something super basic. He'll
Well,
love it. He'll
but,
eat it up.
Jesus, I think this is the tag team. You and I will create the page and
I'm gonna do
whatever.
it. I'm
Hell
gonna do it.
yes. I'm
I'm
just
gonna do
saying.
it.
Fuck yeah. Which, I mean, it's fun to think about, right? Because like that's one of the reasons why, like, it can be weird, right?
Right.
You're a fighter, right? And a lot of the things that you do and the sacrifices that you make happen away from the cameras, and then sometimes, like, the cameras thrust upon you because
Right.
of your lineage and who your coach is, and you're kind of thrust into that, whether you're ready for it or not. And I remember, like, going out to, I guess, the pre-CMMA incarnation of
Right. Right.
UWF USA to interview your teammates, Mario Mario and Johnny Robles
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
what have you. You remember that, right?
Yeah. Yeah. I do. I
Yeah,
was like,
yeah,
do I ask to go in, or do I
yeah.
have to be asked to fight
Okay,
in?
so here's the crazy thing about it, right?
It's just
Because,
because I'm super intimidated and like scary. Like I get it. I know I'm
well,
super
here's the
scared.
thing. Literally, for the gym that housed the Rouse's bunch that is the UWF USA team, like literally there were glass. Kind of think of a racquetball court, right? There's
Okay.
glass, right? And it was steamy. It was like steamy. Now that's all I could see was steam, right? And then coming out because the promoter of that particular promotion, that Robles, the taller gentleman, I can't remember his name. Forgive me,
Probably
Juan.
Juan.
Yes, Juan, and Johnny Juan and Mary were fighting for. He's like, go there, and I knew Josh, but not knew Josh, right?
Right.
So the promoter is also saying, hey, if you can get an interview with Barnett, do
Do
that,
it.
right? And then so Barnett, I knew you guys were in there. The front desk people were like, yeah, they're in there, right? And I'm like, here's a huge room, probably the size of my living room, right? With glass doors, and it's all fogged up. All you see is smoke, right? This smoke. And then Barnett comes out sweating like shit, comes out, and again the sweats and must and everything are bellowing behind him. And yeah, to say I was intimidated is an understatement,
It's an
is what I'm
understatement.
saying. So
He
and
looks like
then
he just came out from beating somebody up or something. You're like, oh
literally, and
no.
you guys looked all worse for wear, and I was like, who fuck me? This is not. And then I was like, and then again, the promoter's like, hey, get a. And even for me, I wanted to get a fucking interview with
Right.
Barnett. I've done several since, but I was like, that's what I want to do, right? And I was like, and he was like, who are you here to see? And I was like, Juan Mary by name, right? He was the bouncer for you guys, right? Just to show how protective that he is of you guys. You are
Totally.
his kids,
Yeah.
right? And he walks out and whatever. And I was like, hey, like these two and possibly you. And he was like, me? No. Just like that.
Oh.
I was like,
Oh,
okay, so
definitely. Yeah. He'll tell
yeah.
you. Yeah.
And
He
I
won't beat
and
around the bush.
and that so I literally take the three on the side of the room, trying not to slip on all of you guys' sweats and other bodily fluids and
So
whatever.
gross.
And again, knowing Barnett is watching, right? And I just have, at that time, it was like thumbing the nose, like just to have a microphone attached to your phone, which now everybody's doing, by the way. But
Right.
I was like, I'm so JoJo. And I would basically, I didn't have a tripod or anything. So I would have, when I interviewed Johnny, I would have Juan holding it. When I interviewed Mary, I fucking have
I
Johnny
love
holding.
it. That is so cool though.
So
It's
yeah,
so that's awesome.
but Barnett has done it. Like he was just off of like Rogan and all that jazz, and
Right.
he's seen professional setups, and he was like, "Oh, this." I
Oh,
was
this is
thinking
so
that
cool.
he thought this shit is so JoJo. Like
Oh,
yeah, but he was watching to make sure that I did, justice to your teammates, and
right,
that's it.
right, right.
So after that, then like we became friends because like
Yeah,
I
cool.
because I never say like, oh, I'm a media person or whatever, because like I'm not an investigative reporter. Like Lou Thomas has a great piece on like you can't be an investigative reporter here in MMA because you piss off somebody, they're going to tell their team, they're going to
Right.
tell their manager, blah blah blah, and you're not going to get any
Any
fucking interviews,
right.
right?
Yeah, yeah.
And the hell, I want any one of my friends to look out of sorts, one, but my friends that are also world beaters to fucking look at me and go, fuck off.
Right,
I'm
right. Yes,
good
I
on
guess
that.
it's a bad group of people to piss off.
I'm just
Yeah,
saying.
MMA fighters maybe not a good group to piss off.
Oh,
It's
and
hard though too, I'm sure, because like I mean, interview like yeah, sometimes you have to talk about future opponents, right? Or like I don't know. And sometimes
I
I'm sure
fucking
MMA
have.
fighters are not like the like totally normal people. So I'm sure they say like the most heinous shit sometimes, right? Like the most crazy shit. Like, oh, that's probably racist, or that's probably gonna piss somebody off, or that's probably, and then you're like, oh, we're going live. Or we're I
Yeah,
gotta post this, or I gotta edit this out.
yeah,
So
no,
I'm sure
yeah.
it's hard
So
too.
Yeah, so I just don't, but that was just the scene, Now
That's
it's
hilarious.
cool to see. And when I was like, I fucking love Bloodsport. And he's like, literally, here's everybody, like, whatever. He DM'd everybody on the card
Uh-huh.
to do an interview with me, which is fucking,
That's
yeah.
insane.
So Bloodsport 4 and 5, like 70% of the card have been on this show. So, and
That's
that's because of
awesome.
War Monster. Because I've hit those people up for interviews in the past. No,
Nothing.
no, go to New Japan. Go to this person. Talk to my agent. Josh Barnett tells them, "Oh, they're hitting me back. Like I don't even fucking DM them. Like
That's
it's the
awesome.
War Master effect, and that's why that guy is the MVP. He's
He's
a
a teddy
hero, but
bear.
he's a friend. He's really a friend.
He's a teddy bear. He's a giant
Yeah.
teddy bear.
Yes. Little Diesel 408 said, "What's up, y'all? Looking great. Loving the content. Thank you, good sir. And you just won at Pisces Fight Night. So shout out to you, Little Diesel.
Lil
And Anthony,
Diesel.
yes. Anthony Aguilera, good brother there. Alyssa is dope. I
Oh
remember
shoot!
her
Yeah, Anthony
when I was
Aguilera, stud
when I was at
husband,
New
dude.
Breed as a youngster. She was dope. A blue belt with a buzzer.
Buzzard, yeah, Jason Buzzard, dude. That's awesome, Anthony. Shout out, man. Hope you're
So
doing
talk to
good,
us
dude.
about that. Like,
That's cool.
what was that? So how?
So,
And Anthony's a good friend. That's a
so
brother.
yeah,
That's not
just
even
part of
friend.
who people you meet in the jujitsu and MMA and all that competing world. Yeah, he was a he goes to New Breed
Tillis.
or I don't
He's
know if
at
he's still
Tillis
there.
now.
I don't want to name drop because I don't know if it's right. But
Yeah, he,
he's legit. He's legit. He's
yeah,
legit. That's
yeah,
cool, man.
yeah.
Yeah. That's cool. Awesome, man.
So talk about the War Master effect because you, much like AJ Bryant, your team, your teammate AJ Bryant went to Japan. Your teammate Victor Henry is a former deep champion. So
Yeah. I think AJ,
you
I don't he didn't go to Japan. He went to
he went somewhere else, right? He fought
uh
outside
yeah, I
of
want to say like
California.
Sweden or Russia. I think it was Russia. Russia,
There we
Russia,
go.
Russia. Yeah.
There we go.
I'm sorry. Yeah. So training with them, and I'm sorry, I ruined your middle question.
No, so you go to Japan with Josh Barnett.
Right.
What the fuck was that like? Because I mean, most people like to do the shirts of "I'm a legend in Japan," but no, that guy is a legend in Japan.
It is
Facts.
so weird. For sure, people, we have this joke that we do with him because his fight name is War Master. And people have come up to him like, oh my God, War Machine, what's up? And like, so we play that joke here. He don't like it. But we play that joke because someone came up to him and called him War Machine. And right, we all know that story. So that's not a good person to be called.
Yeah.
So, long story short, he got called that. So we joke around when people come up to him and like take a picture of him when we're like in the States or whatever. We'll like all of us in the background, like, oh my God, Josh, can we get a picture with you? Because it's so weird. Okay. It's so weird. And obviously, my experience with that was first in the US. It was so weird to see people like at tournaments, like, oh, shoot, can we take a picture with you? I'm like, oh, yeah, I forgot. Like, you're a legend. Like, what the heck? When we went to Japan, I thought he was fucking Brad Pitt or something. It was so weird, so different. The popularity for Josh in Japan is so much different. And it was so weird. I mean, when we went to China, just in Asia, he has a big following. It must be just in Asia in general. But I mean, the first time we fought, I was introduced to all these people. I think the first time I fought, it was against Kana Asakura, and on that card was Heath Herring. Coaching him
Yes.
was Big Country. I think freaking oh my god, crazy left leg kick, checkered shorts.
Crow Cop.
Crow Cop fought. So I'm like, holy shit! All these people are on the card. This is amazing. Like I'm fighting on the same card. Then after all the fights happened, right? There's everybody in the background. Big Country comes and asks to take a picture with me. He wants to. He's like, hey, I'm Big Country. He didn't introduce himself like that. He's like, hey, can I take a picture with you? I'm like, Big Country wants to take a picture with me. Keith Haring is there, and he's like, man, yeah, that was a cool fight. Da, da, da. What the? What? My mind is like blowing up. I'm sweating. My armpits probably smelled so bad at that point. And then Crow Cop had his fight, and then right there walking, and then him and Josh are just talking, like joking around, like hugging each other. I'm like, Crow Cop. That's Crow Cop. Like that. I'm just hearing in the background the little Hispanic girl, like with my mouth open, just like, it's just insane. It was so surreal for my first fight with Japan. I mean, my first fight with Josh, and it was in Japan. I won that fight, which was even made it that much greater.
Yeah.
We went to dinner, and it was it was such a crazy experience. And then just right, Josh was pretty cool. He's like, look, this is your first, like I said, Josh always wants to teach us stuff and just trying to better our lives in general. So he's like, look, this is your first time in Japan. We're not just gonna go for your fight. We're gonna stay for a couple days. I'm gonna show you some stuff. I'm like, what? So we stayed for like 4 days after my fight, and it was I fought New Year's Eve. So after that, we went to go party. That story, maybe I'll save it for another one because I'm embarrassed. It was pretty bad. I'm not a drinker, but
Ah.
I got a little cray. We'll say that. Okay. It was a little much. I was excited. And I was like 22 or something at the time. So I was like, heck yeah, I'm going to live it up. I mean, it was just so cool. Josh took me to so many places. He was like, I'm going to show you the best coffee, big coffee fiend. It was just so cool. I mean, he took me to places. I got to go to UWF in Japan. Yeah.
No way.
It was pretty legit. I mean, I got to cut weight there and train there a little bit. It was so cool. He just showed me around. It was just so much fun. It was like super cool bonding experience for us two. It was just us two. We just, it was just his little girl in Japan. It was amazing. And the people that I met and the people I got to train with and the places he took me there. Every time we go to the Isami fight shop, and that's, for whatever reason, that's like I love going there. It bleeds old school MMA. It bleeds that you're in the mecca of MMA. It was just awesome. And every time I go there, it's a whole different world. It's just the way MMA is looked at over there and treated. I mean, I've probably said this a bunch of times, but my first fight over there, I was so scared to fart during the fight because everybody would probably hear it. I mean, there was like 30,000 people in Saitama Super Arena. It was insane. And first of all, Josh never, in the whole that I had a fight in Japan, never said how many people were going to be there. Okay, I come from California where, right,
Yes.
you go, right, probably have like 200, maybe 400, 500 people at max there, right?
Mm-hmm.
I walk into Saitama Super Arena because you have to do like a warm up with like the fireworks and stuff. I walk in there and there's all these fighters, and I'm like, wait, we're fighting in here? What the? I can't even see where the end of this freaking place ends. Are you kidding me? I'm like, is this place gonna be filled up? Like, what's going on? He's like, yeah, probably like 10, 20,000 people. 35,000 people. I'm like, he's like, yeah, just let that set in. 3 hours before you fight. Yeah, just let that set in. I'm like, what? This is insane. This is gonna be freaking rad. I mean, this is cool. I mean, this is what we're here for, I guess, and yeah. I mean, maybe that was the reason Josh didn't tell me, but he's like, yeah, it just wasn't important. Okay.
Well, did you not? I mean, did you know the venue that you were fighting?
You know what? I really didn't. When it comes down to like a fight, I'm like, all right, I show up and I am basically fighting to the death. Whoever almost kills whoever first, right? Like that's the goal. I didn't think about it until the Ryzen people came to do interviews for the like the little video and stuff.
Yeah.
So they came like probably 2 weeks or so, or maybe a little later before the fight, and they're like, oh, you're gonna be fighting in Saitama Super Arena. Like, you excited? I'm like, in my head, I'm like, I should probably Google that. I should probably Google what Saitama Super Arena is, So I'm like, yeah, I'm super stoked. I've never been to Japan. And I knew like, right, Josh and Big Country had fought there for UFC Japan.
Yes.
And so, right, I had known that. I knew that was a thing. And I'm like, oh, yeah, like, that'd be cool. I just didn't know how big it was. And it was huge. I mean, as big as arenas come. It was crazy. And super honored to be able to work there. I mean, I couldn't have been any luckier. And it was a great experience for my first fight in Japan. I hadn't fought there yet again, right? Because I went to Fukuoka and then we were at another arena in Japan. But it was definitely an awesome experience. And Josh went out of his way to stay there a couple days and show me around, and it was awesome. It was really, really cool. And then the other trips those are more stories to come. I mean, from getting to the airport to getting to the airport from coming back. Stories galore. Josh will tell you. He hates how so Josh is always Josh will never be in his pajamas outside of his house. He'll be in his Converse that he got from 1963 that he
Yeah.
still wears,
Hmm.
and his black jeans and his leather jacket. I go to the airport. It's 5 o'clock in the morning. I'm in my pajamas with my socks and my sandals, and he's like, "I cannot be seen with you. You're wearing socks with sandals. You're trash." Like he was, yeah. So it's just funny. I can't get over the things that I've done for sure. It's awesome. I've been pretty lucky.
I'd say so. I mean, literally, St. Thomas Super Arena, for those who don't know, Pride. Pride FC. Like, that's like Pride Fighting Championships. That's it. Leanne Hart. Yeah, like,
Dude, that
that's the deal.
too. Oh my gosh. It was so cool for her to say my name. Like that was another thing. And it's so funny. I never realized how important it was to other fighters, which it makes sense now. I just thought like, I'm like, oh my God, like she's gonna say my name. And it was like, I can't even do it. I'm not even pretend like I know how to do it. But it was so cool. That was super cool. And it's so funny. I came home, I told mom, I'm like, oh my God, look at this. And she's like, who's that? What's that? And she thought it was like a guy at first. I'm like, okay. And it's just like a fighter thing. It's just, but it's still super cool. I was super excited. I mean, it was all these things happening that, and I'm just like a little girl from Whittier, California, like, doing these big things. It was just so awesome. And I cannot wait to go back and do it again. I'm dying for it. I'm dying for it.
I love it. I absolutely love it. Now, Little D's says it was Street Beefs. My correction. It wasn't Pisces Fight. It was Street Beefs. But Chef Fandangle says Alyssa was a beast from the Cal High wrestling team.
Yeah,
Sending love
cowboy.
to
Yeah,
Alyssa and
yeah.
her family. There you go.
Chef Fandangle. Sending love back, homie.
Mariamasakis?
Whittier.
Mariam
Whittier.
Whittier. which Little Lisa says, "What part of Cali are you from?" So
Oh,
Whittier, yeah,
Whittier.
that's like
Little city, little city, little city.
little city. I'm just saying. I mean, not. I mean, it's not La Mirada, right?
Yeah, it's
So
kind of, yeah. It's La Mirada and La Habra and Fullerton are like the bigger cities around it. Yeah, Whittier.
yeah.
Yeah, it's a little guy. It's a little guy.
Now it's a weird one, right? Because like from that Risen fight, like that's how could did where did you where did you go from there? Like
Yeah, it taught.
I
To
would
be
have
totally
retired.
honest,
I would have retired.
I had no idea that was the opportunity that was being thrown to me. Josh, I knew definitely Josh had big connections. He was Josh Burnett, and I knew that the girls had fought in Invicta, Shayna and Jessamine and Marina. They all had fought in Invicta, and Josh was getting these guys fights, Vic and AJ, and I'm like, hell yeah, he's gonna get me fights. Like that's what I'm here for. I'm here to fight. That's what I want to do. I need to get my name out here. I want to win fights. That's what I want to do. And two, I mean, we know, right, who you fight and when you fight that person is a big deal, right? There's a technique to getting people fights, to managing. I mean, Josh manages us. That's what he does. So coming from where I was being managed before, it was just that person was just green at the time. I'm not trying to disrespect him. It's just they hadn't had a lot of fighters that they trained. Right, Josh was in Megumi Fuji's corner, helping her
Yeah.
with that, helping with her coming to the U.S. and kind of managing and moving that around for her. So he has his experience. So I was really excited. So when Josh was like, yeah, I got to fight for you in Japan, I already knew Vic and them had fought in Japan, or Vic had fought in Japan. So I was like, oh, sweet. Yeah, let's do it. Like, this is rad. I didn't know what Risen was because it was pretty new. Ryzen really hadn't made too big of a name of itself quite yet. But it was like, the people that were around Pride, it was the guys that had built Pride up, and this is kind of where we're coming from. So I'm like, oh shit, okay, that's pretty rad. Is it Pride rules? Like, what's fun? He's like, pretty much. I'm like, this is sick. I'm down. Let's do it. I've always, on my bucket list, I always wanted to do a left weight fight. So this was pretty close. No, it wasn't pretty close, but it's different than the sanction rules. So to get that opportunity, I didn't really know what it was until I got there, to be completely honest. The California fight scene here is like, yeah, you guys are sharing a locker room with 4 other guys. I had my
Yeah.
own locker room. The setup was like, they treated us like kings and queens. I mean, it was legit. It was so cool. It's just totally different. Fireworks, fire. Like they announce your
Fire,
name and this video in
fire.
front of all these people. I was like, I really didn't know what I was getting into, to be completely honest, until I was in it. It was huge. It was really, really
That's
cool.
that's
A big jump. A big jump.
big jump. And Chef Fandango going, Whittier, Whittier. Shit.
Jesus.
Alex Ramirez says, "Come to Grill 'Em All with me." Which
Bomb, dude. Grill them
let's
all. Best burger spot. I think it's in Alhambra.
okay. Yes,
Bomb.
it is in Alhambra, right?
Bomb.
And,
Bomb.
and never forget, right? Never forget because there's this food truck, kind of whatever, Grill
Oh,
'Em
right,
All
right.
was the first.
Really?
Grill 'Em All was the first like couture food truck, and then they basically were running like two trucks a night. It was like them and Kogi beef, like
Kogi
those are
beef.
the two. Yeah, those were the two, and then they basically went and did the brick and mortar in Alhambra off of Main Street, so Alhambra, California. But yeah, that's the story of
Dang,
Grill
I
'Em
didn't
All.
know
Which
that. I never knew that. That's pretty cool. Damn. Yeah, they're dude, their burgers are bomb. I get the behemoth. That's my go-to.
the Behemoth is yours.
That's it. That's all I need.
Oh,
That's my
okay.
burger.
So, okay, explain for those of you guys who don't know Grill 'Em All. Uh, and Josh Barnett along the wall, right? Along with Zach Wilde and Dolph Ziggler of the
Right.
WWE. Well,
Oh
well,
yeah, Josh has
Josh
his burger there
Barnett's
too.
yeah, yes, he does. It's
I
the War Master.
totally forgot about that.
But what is the Behemoth?
So the behemoth is two. Okay, not just one grilled cheese. Okay, it's two grilled cheese buns. Yes, a whole grilled cheese. So you have one whole grilled cheese, a burger stuff in between, and then another whole grilled cheese. So basically, grilled cheeses, like a whole sandwich, not one piece of bread with cheese. A whole grilled cheese is replacing one bun, and a whole grilled cheese is replacing the other bun. It is a heart attack.
Mm-hmm.
It is delicious. I mean, they have so much. I mean, even their like fries, they have like gourmet fries and oh, good stuff. I wish I lived closer. I'd probably be 300 pounds right now if I lived closer to them.
No, 100%. I mean, I'm not too far. I'm not too far from it, but like my wife was like, "Don't go to Grill 'Em All. Like, just don't like." I was
Do it
trying
for
to
your
Uber
arteries.
Eats it.
Don't do it.
Yeah, no, but mine is the D Snyder. Do you know the D Snyder?
Is that
That's my
barbecue?
go-to.
Bacon?
No, no. So think of a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, right? Right, and you stick a fucking huge burger
I know
in
which one that
between
is.
peanut butter.
It's called the D
Yeah,
Snyder.
that's the D Snyder. That's my shit right
Bomb.
there.
So good. Oh, I'm
Yes.
not making dinner tonight. I'm going to grill them all.
Ah, hey, I'm just saying. Alex Ramirez says Grill 'Em All got a free advertisement spot on the According to Woods podcast. Hell yes, and if they want to sponsor, I'm down. I mean,
Send
that's
me a
like maybe
t-shirt.
just a
No,
burger.
I don't need t-shirts. Send me a burger.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Yes, and D Snyder, the best
Dang. All
burger on
right.
the
I
menu.
gotta try it. I gotta try it.
I think we gotta go. So it was weird, right? So like uh, Chris Dickinson, who's a professional wrestler, right?
Okay. Oh
When
yeah.
he was, yeah, so he's trained with you guys, has it?
I think he has. Yeah, I think he's come when we were in La Mirada because we go to the UFC gym in La Mirada. So I think he had been there a few times. But yeah, I definitely know who he is. That's cool.
You you let it out. I was trying to keep like the secrecy of like where the fucking. Uh-oh.
Well, everything's
Never
shut
mind.
down now. I mean, they're not. That's why we're. I mean,
Yeah.
it's good timing with us training at CMMA. I mean, it's worked out. It's definitely worked out.
Fucking super team, man. Like you
Dude,
guys hooking up
can I
with
say a
Chad
little shit?
George
Can
and
I talk about CMMA for a second?
let's
Dude,
do this.
Chad George and what he's got going on over there is so rad. I mean, it's different than when you. It's just that gym is for MMA fighters, and it's cool because people can still go there and get a membership and work out and stuff. But to have both is really hard to find, right? Kind of like CSW and these really big name gyms, like top teams, right? Like American Top Team. Now we have like a girls team going on over there, and dude, freaking red, dude. I cannot we are so fortunate, dude. I'm telling you. Even though in Gardena, it's a little dry for me. It's so worth it, dude. I mean, I can't explain the stuff that Chad has built there and what they got going over there, and they have legit guys teaching legit stuff, dude. I mean, Chad George and Josh Burnett, big guy, littler guy, different ideologies, and it blends together so good. And for us, it's just CMMA has definitely the transition to CMMA and UWF USA has been so cool, and it's kind of been in the works for a while. We just never really put the name on it, you know. I mean, we've been training with Chad for a
Yeah.
while, and I mean, it's so cool, and it's you just get the work you need. That gym makes you a better fighter. It don't matter where you come from, what your background is. It's gonna make you better. I mean, we have an amazing team over there.
No, 100%. I mean, it's crazy the rise, and it's funny because it's like two gyms that used to kind of be affiliated, right? So you've got CSW training with Pinnacle,
Right.
in like the high desert and whatever, and then you've got CMMA and UWF USA. So there's like these super gyms amongst super gyms where people
Right.
from like Black House come in to get rounds, people from Saxon come to get rounds. Like everybody just comes for
Exactly.
open mat, and it's just like fucking just
Dude,
everybody
it's
eating
so
like
legit.
literally.
And it's crazy too. I mean,
Yeah.
like now it's slowed down a little bit because people what really I feel like gets the gym going and gets people like just the fighters, the pros and the amis. What really gets us going is when fights are lined up. This guy's got to fight in 2 weeks. This
Yeah.
guy's got to fight in a month. Like, make sure they get their rounds. Make sure you go hard on them. Make sure this is what you work on them. And that's so important because you could throw a bunch of pro fighters in a room and like, yeah, beat the shit out of each other. But Chad and Josh
Mm-hmm.
are like, look, Shohei, this is what you got going. Vic, this is what you got. Bruno, this is what you got coming up. This is what I want you to work on. Whatever. And dude, it makes the difference. You got guys in there that are coaches that are in there and guys that have been in the game that are like, look, we're singling you out. This is what needs to be done. This is what you need to do. This is what your opponent's gonna do. And dude, I mean, it don't get any better than that, right? It don't get any better than that. We're just so fortunate, dude. I can't wait till things pick up again and all of us are in camp, or we got to get our time in. And oh man, it's such a good feeling. Oh, such a good feeling. It
Yeah.
feels like a puzzle piece. It feels like two puzzle pieces put together with CMMA and UWF because
No.
it's really working.
No, 100%, and it's cool because two legends of the sport, Josh Barnett and Chad the Savage George, and there could be infighting or whatever. The mutual respect is so there, and I mean, if you just to give you a kind of a sneak peek, you can float around in my social media pages. It's like literally down deep, but we were backstage at the Sportsman's Lodge. I think it was for like one of AJ's fights, right? And
Okay.
for a CXF, the precursor to Lights Out, Extreme Fighting, and I'm like, hey, I see Chad and Josh talking, and I didn't know the relationship, and that was pretty early on in the kind of working relationship between the
Okay.
two gyms, right? But I'm like, oh, selfie, right? And literally, Chad leaps into Josh's arms, and I have a selfie with me, Barnett, and Chad being cradled by Josh.
Perfect. That's definitely for sure. For sure. It is respect. No one coach. Oh, this, I did that. I mean, but definitely.
Yeah. Hey, do something really quick. Jump out and then jump back in. Because there's
Okay,
a.
do
Yeah. Hey, guys. This is the According to Woods podcast. And Alex Ramirez says peanut butter, bacon sriracha sauce with chunky peanut butter. 100%. That is it. NWA Black Blood said, I love this podcast. I love it too. I love the Roundtable podcast as well. So check out the Roundtable podcast tonight. The Bad Blood, the franchise player, is interviewing the Kolofs. Nikita Koloff and some charges of his. So, Victor Henry said, did she say something dumb? Uh, maybe not. Maybe not. Maybe like the Facebook police kind of went awry. But Victor Henry, she was talking about CMMA, right? Oh, never mind. It's Alyssa Garcia. I know she did. There you go. That coming to you from former Deep Champion and member of UWF USA, uh, the one and only Victor Henry, the Mongoose. So shout out to Victor Henry. So we're waiting for Alyssa to come back on. So we're gonna just entertain the chats. Here it seems like. Oh, still, you know, Victor's just eating you up right
Órale.
here. Did she do something dumb? Says Victor Henry. Never mind. It's Alyssa Garcia, so I know she did. And I ain't lost the belt. So yeah. So current Deep Champion. Yeah, I'm just saying.
I ain't lost that belt.
Sorry, Vic.
Can you hear me? No.
Yeah, I can hear you. Just talk through it. We're gonna just talk through it. Go ahead. Glitches happen. Yeah. You need to stream this podcast? Yeah, go ahead, share it on your page. I'm good with that. Stream this podcast on the Roundtable Pro Wrestling Combat Sports podcast. No, 100%. Go. It's literally on YouTube. I will send you the links to do such things. And that squiggly line says, "Yep, her face is frozen. Too much Botox." Victor Henry says. I'm just the messenger. Yeah, I mean, too much Botox. 10 points. That's a zing for Victor Henry. I'm just saying. Shout out to you, good sir. This is and this is actually the part 2 of the podcast because we did like part 1 and the very same thing happened. So I ended the stream and then we just jumped back on, and it seems like the persistence of the technology. Which, yep, my sketchy artist 99 says, "LOL, gotta love technology." No, 100%. There have been times where I've been frozen. I've been like the what is it? Elsa? Elsa is her name, and frozen. But I am choosing not to let this stream go. All right, I'm not gonna let it go. Let it go. Because this is some good shit that we're getting out of here. So yeah, and it was funny because the last stream, Alyssa, this very thing was happening, and I was just like, I can't feel time. And then right when I ended the stream, she jumped back. So I'm like she did here. See, look at that.
I'm gonna freaking throw my Wi-Fi router, whatever. I don't know what the fuck is going on. It's killing me right now.
Well, Victor Henry says her face was frozen, too much Botox.
I need to go get more. That's what I need to do. Working with Victor Henry, all I do is get gray hairs and wrinkles.
Ooh, damn.
That's right.
Shade fucking tone.
Let's go. Let's go, boy.
Is this talk shit, get lit? Is that what we're doing here?
Oh, there's probably a reason why Josh has never set up in an interview with me, him, and Vic or any other of the fighters, because it'd be bad. We be ripping each other new ones. Where you go?
So
what are you scared now, Vic, or what?
So you're saying there's a need for such a thing for you, Josh, Victor Henry? You're saying there's a need for a podcast, a podcaster that and friend of all of the parties involved that just love the hell out of all of you guys and respect the hell out of all of you guys. Yeah, but you're saying there's a need for such a thing.
I mean, ding. Let's start it.
I might know a guy that might make that happen. So
I'm gonna just slide that in, slide that to
I'm
you.
Just saying.
Do what you want with it. Yeah, we've never done it. I mean, maybe even when we fought on Deep together, I don't think there was any interviews of all of us together. It was just our pre-fight interviews, and that was it. Yeah. I don't know if Josh would
Okay.
even he'd probably fucking kill us. I don't even know how that would end up.
Oh, this is great. Okay, I'm gonna take that. I'm gonna do
Yeah.
that. And why
Why
throw
throw
fists when
fists?
you can throw words? 100%. 100%.
That's
Which,
that's definitely what Vic likes to do. He likes to throw
okay,
words. He throws
yeah.
fists
So
too.
he does throw fists. Oh, he does this weird thing with his legs. Like like there was a video that went around with Victor Henry just like scuttlebutting backwards. It was like a weird moonwalk thing. He was like punching and whatever, and then it just stopped. Like the bell rang and it just stopped. Do you know what? I'll DM you the link. It is the
This is Victor
greatest thing
Henry being
ever.
Victor Henry.
Yeah, he's just like this,
Oh my
like
god.
that, whatever. It looked like the most
Moonwalking.
like physically taxing thing that you could do, and then yeah, and he
Probably was.
just yeah, and he
Energizer
just went
Bunny.
and like he literally just walked off.
Into like 10 rounds of sparring right after he
Probably,
did that.
probably. That's where it cut off. So I'm sure that happened. I'm sure that happened. Which, speaking of happenings, right? So obviously 2020, crazy year, fucking nuts, right? But I mean, theoretically speaking, this time last year, what were you looking forward to? Were you looking because obviously, you've got a family and all that. So was fighting on the horizon for you, or were you kind of
I was still
I'm
trying to
gonna
lose the baby weight. I was still trying to lose the
oh,
baby weight. Dude, I gained like 80 pounds during my pregnancy. She got big. Yeah. But at this time last year, yeah, I was in the talks of getting back into training. Let me see. I was probably 3 months postpartum. So yeah, I was probably just getting in the works of getting back into training. I trained about a month after I had my son. So the goal was just to lose the weight, to keep some weight, because actually um, we were in talks of, because I did do a fight in China at 115. But for some people that know or don't know, walking around for 105, you probably walk around at like 125, 130. At 115, you're walking around like 145, 150, maybe a little heavier, depending, your like your height and stuff. But so 115 is for me, I feel like is tough, because I am a little person. I don't gain weight a lot, and so just like, this is your opportunity. You're fat. Let's keep some of that weight on. As you way too much weight and muscle, I got down to like 104, and I cut to 110 to then cut water to 105. So I was getting pretty light, and it was not what we were planning for. So then COVID happened, all the restrictions happened, gyms got shut down. All of us were kind of on pause for a few months. We didn't really know, we were thinking, oh, the gyms will open up in a couple weeks. Then it was like, oh, they'll open up in a couple months. Like, oh, well, maybe it'll open up in a year. So yeah, this time last year, it was a lot of it was up in the air, because we didn't really know what the heck was going to happen. We didn't know if this whole quarantine was going to get worse or if it was going to get better. And it just kind of got worse. And luckily, Vic had gotten some fights in Russia and stuff, which was really
yeah.
cool. Um, None of us really have gone back to Japan to compete, that I know of. So it's, unfortunately, it's a lot of it's up in the air. For me right now, it's hard too, because I have like this weird fear of getting stuck out there if they like shut stuff down again. Um, having a family now, it's that kind of stuff can't happen. It's not easy to get money wired to you. So it's just weird. It's just a weird time, and it's just, this time last year is definitely better. I think last year everything was new as far as quarantining and what was happening. So now we kind of have a hold on what we could do and what we can't do, and traveling's opening up more. So that's cool. Um, yeah. So hopefully I'm hoping before the year ends, I get a fight in. That's my goal, is to get something by the end of the year. And that also comes with just training consistency. Training consistently. That's another thing too. Is just, you can't expect to get a fight or ask for a fight and win that fight when you're not training consistently. My best performance for sure was my last fight in Deep. I had nothing but training going on for 2 months straight. I went to Thailand for a month, trained with Santanoy over there, and learned some amazing things, and then went flew straight to Japan to train there. I stayed with my good friend Mei Yamaguchi, who's a star in One Championship, and I lived with her for a couple weeks, and then fought there. And then Josh, when I was like, "Hey, it's time to go home," he's like, "No, I think I'm gonna get you another fight in Japan." And it didn't work out. And at that point, I was like, "Thank God," because I was so exhausted and tired, just not being home for like 2 months,
Mhm.
and being in a relationship, that's not the easiest thing, to be gone for 2 months in another country. But it worked out really good. My fiance's was really cool with it, and he was like, "Yeah, I want you to do your thing." So it worked out good, and I can't wait to do that again. I mean, living, breathing training is the best feeling in the world. The best feeling in the world. I mean, even though it was hard to be at Santa Noise and wake up from roosters and get chased out by, they're not Komodo dragons, I forget what they're called, but it was crazy. It was insane, and I was so tired. Josh is so sweet too. He like FaceTime me. He's like, "How you doing, kiddo?" And I'm like, "Good. I want to go home." No, but it was amazing, and that feeling of like living and breathing training. When I was living with Vic and our other roommate, our other teammate Angel, it's a fighter house, and that's even different too. There's no they keep you accountable, and so I can't wait for that kind of livelihood to come back, where everything training is just consistent, and Monday through fucking Sunday, you're doing something, you're training, you're working out, and that's what I cannot wait for, to be back. But
No.
we'll see. I'm hoping by the end of the year. That's my goal.
So, I mean, obviously, stateside, you mentioned, a couple. I mean, three out of the four horsewomen of MMA, right, or your former teammates, and competed in Invicta. Invicta is back up. LFA is back
Right.
up. There are regional shows out in Florida. So, are those some of the things that you're kind of looking forward to, or
That
do you
would,
want to just
yeah.
go?
That
Okay.
would be awesome. That would be so awesome. I would definitely, you know, it's all Josh. I mean, I'm in Josh's hands, and I trust him wholeheartedly. So whatever Josh, and Josh too. I mean, he goes out of his way. He sends me workouts to do at home because he knows I can't make it to CMMA every day. So yeah, that's the goal too. I don't need to fight overseas. It's not, it doesn't need to be that. If I could find something around here, and like you said, Invicta is probably the only big promotion besides Ryzen that has a 105 weight class, and
Mm-hmm.
a legit 105 weight class. I mean, girls, right? Jinyu Frey came out of there. Carla Esparza came out. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, legit girls have come out of there. So that is definitely something I would love to hop on. And yeah, I mean, it's a great, I might not be at 105 forever. Josh might tell me like, "No, you're not going to be at 105 ever again. This is going to have to be, the goal is going to have to be to get you up to 115." Which has always been in the talks with us, because I don't know if, and UFC is not always necessarily the goal. That's not always our goal. Right. I mean, if that ends up being where my career goes, for sure. But obviously, as we know, there's no 105 in UFC. So the goal is to get me to fight, to train consistently, and to stay healthy. And I was fighting what was it? I think I fought 4 times in a year with Josh, and that's the goal. I mean, that's to get your numbers up, right? And the only way to do that is to fight, win or lose. So our goal is winning, and our goal is training consistently. And yeah, I would, if something came at me with Invicta that Josh approved of, I'm there. I am there. Definitely.
I love it. I love it. Now, listen, it's been amazing to have you here, but obviously there have been a lot of people, both professionally and personally, that have helped you in your journey, not just in fight, but in life. So,
Right.
my sister, go ahead and get some shout outs out of the
Ah,
way.
sweet. Oh my God, I don't even know where to start. My teammates. I mean, my teammates. Gosh, I can't even. Let's name them all. Vic, Mary, Mia, Shohei, who also just had a baby. Shohei just had a son. Congrats to him. Oh my gosh, Juan, Johnny, Brandon. You know, of course, Josh. I mean, Josh is. I love you. I'm not gonna talk about you too much because you're gonna hold it against me. I love you, and you suck, and I still hate you. Um, Everybody at CMMA, and I mean everybody. I mean everybody who works, whether the front desk or is there to clean up the mats, and Chad George has really got something really good going, and we're so fortunate to be there. I'm so fortunate to be there. You know, there's days where I have to take my son with me, and it's not the easiest thing to do. And you know, he's a new dad too, so he understands. And
Mm-hmm.
you know, it's a big shout out to Chad for sure. This is what he's got going and what he's letting us do over there, and with open arms. We're so lucky. You know, everybody who from Cal High Wrestling, Ozzy, Lou, Jason Buzzard, you know, got me into jiu-jitsu, my brother. I know I'm missing people, but all the old school people from wrestling and back in the day, and beating me up, you know, when I was super green. I used to train. My sparring partners legit were like big dudes because that's just who was there at the time. And Travis too. Well, I call him Travis Newaza because he's Newaza, but he helped me transition to
Yeah.
CSW, to where he introduced me to Josh. And that day I met Josh, my whole world has changed in the least romantic way. If you get what I'm saying. He totally changed my world. He came into my life and he took me under his wing, and he really took me serious when you know, like the girls were saying in the room, you know, you came in this cute little girl with your singlet on, thinking, you know, I don't know, I was going in there trying to be a hoochie mama, I don't know, but yeah, I went in there and I was serious. I was trying to hold my weight, being the littlest guy. And Vic, from day one, whether it was holding pads or spar, you know, Vic is so, his fight IQ is so high that he knows how to train with me and give me my hardest work without using his weight or his full technique, because in any given day he could beat the shit out of me. And you know, he really will, after practice, sit down with us or with me and be like, you know, do this instead. And you know, I'm super fortunate. Unfortunately, a lot of people don't know who Victor Henry is. I mean, a lot of people definitely do know who he is, but not enough people know who he is what I should say, because Victor Henry is a top contender at 135, if not the top contender at 135. And I definitely owe a lot to Vic, and all the other guys on the team. And yeah, and thank you so much for calling me on and asking me to be on. This is awesome. I haven't talked, and of course, thanks to my fiance and my family. They're amazing. My fiance has been really cool from the get-go. Early in our relationship, I was gone for like 2 months out of the year, just, you know, just traveling and doing who knows what. And I mean, doing who knows what, I mean, doing who knows what. I'm just kidding. But no, I was, I had a really fortunate, I'm really fortunate with the people I have in my life. And, you know, I'm excited to see where else MMA takes me. I mean, I can't wait to get that engine really rolling again. I miss it. I miss being in that cage and all that good stuff, man.
We miss you too, sis. We miss you too, man. Like, you can't wait. Now, before we let you go,
Yes.
you are wearing a Kiss Destroyer t-shirt. Okay?
Do you see this, dude?
Yes.
This was on sale for $3.
Oh, yes. Wait, what? Where? What?
Yeah, at Savers. Yeah, I know. I'm an adult and I shop at Savers sometimes. Yeah, Savers, the thrift store. I found it here. I found it there a while ago. But then someone told me that it was actually like a redo shirt. Like it's not an original like printed shirt. It's like a urban, like, I don't know, some like bougie
Urban
store,
Outfitter.
Yeah. It's like a redo shirt. So it's just a pajama shirt. I was really excited. I thought I had like an OG like 80s like Kiss shirt, but no, it's not. It's a fake.
So, do you know the Kiss members, or are you just lying to kick it?
Oh, I'm just lying to kick it. No, so of course everyone knows who Gene Simmons is. Does that count?
Okay.
So
no, because I was going to ask you. Oh, go ahead. Go for it. Gene Simmons.
Yeah, I'm just gonna go with Gene Simmons. Yeah, I know Gene Simmons. That's who I know in Kiss.
Okay, so the guy that looks like this. Okay, so let me do. And this is a weird one because I'm educating you on something that's weird, but I'm gonna go for it. So the cat. So the cat is Peter Criss, Catman, right? Then we've got, and that's the original members, right? Then you've got the Star Child in Paul Stanley, right? And Paul Stanley. Yep, that's him right there. Paul Stanley, along with Gene Simmons, are the only original members of Kiss of the last, 10 years. They got replacements, right? Yes, absolutely, which is a travesty. Now, the one that is left, the 3 out of the 4, right, is the Spaceman. That is Ace Frehley, my favorite Kiss member because he's badass. Because he likes space shit and he has a fucking guitar. Not only are his solos fucking super dope, right? But he's got fucking pyrotechnics coming out of his fucking guitar.
Oh, right. Yeah, the like sparkler
Yeah,
fucking
yeah, yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
Sorry, let me just
So
do this real quick.
I'm a of all of the fucking, like a lot of people are Gene Simmons fans, and that's great and whatever. But like, I'm an Ace guy. And it's weird because like there was different iterations of Kiss. Obviously, when Peter Chris and Ace, one of the reasons why they're away from the band, like since the mid 2000s, is because they had super drug addictions and whatever. So
Nice.
Gene and Paul were just like, ah, we don't like you, yeah,
I
like
feel like
that,
you're not a real
right?
rock star
So.
until you had like some sort of like near death experience with drugs and alcohol. Like that's part of
So
rock and
tell
roll.
that to Gene Simmons, he won't say he's straight edge, but he's straight edge, but he also, like, his rock star is banging chicks.
I was
So,
gonna say, yeah, he like overindulged with like 3,000 women or some crazy stuff, right? Yeah. So
yeah,
everyone's
yeah,
got their
it's
vices in
weird.
rock and roll. But I do,
I'm just saying.
if
So,
you're a Kiss fan, I have a question. Is it
okay.
true that the reason why they wore makeup was because the original cast member or the original band members were four Jewish boys, and they did not want anyone to know who they were? That because of their family and stuff, how hard they are in their Jewish religion, that their family would be pissed. So that's why they wore
Yeah,
makeup. Is that true?
so, so that Gene has never confirmed it, right? But when you think about it, right? So Peter Chris is Peter Cristola, right? So Italian, we got there. There
Okay.
might be some Jewish tinge. Or Ace, God, I can't remember all of their real names. I'm blanking. But Gene Simmons' real name. Do you want it?
Stop. Is it so far fetched that it's not even near Gene Simmons?
Oh yeah,
Is
and
it like
it
wait,
leads
can I
credibility to your theory.
I can't even guess. I don't I'm not I'm trying to think of a super Jewish name.
Heim Wentz,
Wentz. That is so
like
Jewish. I
Pete from
love
Fall
it.
Out Boy Wentz. Yeah, Heim, like Heim Wentz. That's
Oh
Gene
yeah, his
Simmons'
family
real name.
definitely would have known like who he was
Yeah,
if he went by his name.
yeah,
Dude,
yeah.
what? That's so crazy.
I'm just saying. So that's the Kiss Destroyer. My favorite album cover of Kiss, and not to say that Kiss Destroyer isn't whatever, because
You
all of
know?
the fucking songs, the Love Gun and Detroit Rock City, they all come from that album. That is a badass album, right? Or Rock and Roll All Night, that's a badass album. But my favorite, my favorite deal is Dressed to Kill, which is them
Oh,
all in full makeup, right?
yes.
With fucking
Yes.
suits, like
I
three-piece
love it.
suits. It
Dude,
just
the one thing I love I don't know what era I would love to live in or what decade, but I feel like the 80s I love the super like the makeup, the just overdone, the tight pants, the outfits, the headbands, the long hair. I dig it, dude. I dig it. I think the thing about Kiss is so different because it wasn't just like right like regular 80s makeup, right? Like Boy George, it wasn't just like, oh, makeup. It
oh
always
yeah,
was the same.
they were doing that in the
But
'70s. Actually, that's the
but
crazy thing about it.
the red lipstick, I love it. I can't get enough of it. I love it.
Yeah,
And it's kind of making its way back. I'm digging it. I'm digging it. I'm digging it.
I'm just saying. I'm just saying.
I'm just
Now
saying.
for those, yeah. Now, Alyssa, there you have gained many a fans via this podcast and your fighting profession. But for those who haven't already followed you in the life and times of Tiny Tim, Alyssa Garcia, where can they find you on social media?
So my Instagram is Alyssa Loves Gold. I don't have Twitter. I don't think so. It like yeah,
You
I'm
do.
just
I tagged it on this fucking interview.
I don't know how to get in it anymore. I'm telling you, I'm like, yeah, can you hear me now? Can you say me? Like I just don't do good with technology. So I have Twitter and I someone made a fake Twitter of me like years ago. So that was like, yeah, and it's still there. I don't know what it's under. So like that was really
Maybe
weird.
that's the one
Like
I.
it was just,
It's like Alyssa Garcia 105. Is that the fake one?
no, I think the Alyssa Loves Gold one is the fake one. I think that's mine. The Alyssa Garcia 105. But the
Okay.
Alyssa Loves Gold,
That's what I tagged.
that's not mine. That's why I had to remake. That's why I had to do the 105 because someone took it. But yeah. So Alyssa Loves Gold on Instagram. Hit me up.
Yeah.
I'm there.
Yeah. Hell yes. Dude, I hit her up for this very podcast and she was so kind to oblige. Alyssa, thank you for the tales. Thank you for the friendship. I can't wait to see you do
Oh,
your
thank
thing in
you.
whatever cage may be. And thank you guys for joining us here at According to Woods podcast. And if you haven't already
Thank
done
you
so,
guys.
go
Yeah.
ahead. Yes. Yes, and if you haven't already done so, go ahead and like, share, and subscribe to the According to Woods podcast on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. I mean, Alyssa, you're subscribed, right?
Yeah. Totally.
Yeah,
I'll
yeah.
if you show me a YouTube video on how to do that, I will definitely do it because I'm an old
All
lady.
right. Okay, I will
Don't know how to do it.
definitely do that, and I will literally send you yours to
Yeah.
subscribe to because
please,
that's.
please. Want
I'm
to say
just
hi,
saying.
Pops?
I'm just.
Say bye and thank you.
Bye.
Social D.
Nice
One of
social
you.
distortion team, little dude. Hi, buddy.
Yeah.
Hi, Missy. Hi, princess.
Hi. They want to say
Hello.
hi. Oh
Hello.
my goodness. Good
Yes,
timing
but
because
they.
now they're
Yes.
gonna keep me occupied.
Yeah. Well, again, Alyssa, thank you so much. Thank you guys for joining us here. And if you haven't already done so, go ahead and subscribe to According to Woods. But don't just take my word for it or Alyssa's word for it. Here's another pro wrestler and fighter, Zeta Zhang.
Hey, this is Zeta Zhang.